Hello, and this time it's time for something different. Normally, I'm David and I do NickFit videos, but this time I'm working on a Deadguy Ale list that I've been playing since about early December. I got about 5 or 6 trophies with it last season, and I think now it's at least having a pretty good showing in leagues. So I figured I'd record a video with it. Normally I record NickFit videos, but I've been playing a lot of this, so I figure it's time to do another recording. So this deck, I guess Modern Horizons 2, and I guess to a lesser extent, Neon Dynasty added a couple cards that I think have put Deadguy Ale over the list into, being a moderately competitive legacy deck. So the first one of those is Dauthi Voidwalker, which is very good. Very good position in the meta. It's basically a Leyline of the Void hate bear. It's got Shadow, and you can sacrifice it. When a card would go to the opponent's graveyard, you exile it with a Void counter. You can sacrifice Dauthi Voidwalker to cast a card with a Void counter on it, basically. You don't actually use the second ability that frequently, but I would say just sending things to exile is really important. From turning off Loams or Uros to, turning down Snapcasters. Generally, decks like Reanimator or Oops can't beat a resolved Dauthi Voidwalker. The card's really, really well positioned in the meta, and Shadow is a relevant ability as well. Shadow most of the time means that this creature can't be blocked. Really good for things like Umezawa's Jitte. If you're facing a deck like Elves, a lot of times they would block and then bounce or something and prevent your creature from dealing damage. That's sort of not a possibility with Dauthi Voidwalker. So, the fact that the opponent can't chump block it generally makes Dauthi Voidwalker pretty good. The other card from Modern Horizons 2 that I dismissed originally, but now I actually think this card's really good, is Tourach Dread Cantor. So Tourach Dread Cantor is a 2/1 for 2, which is relevant that it's a 2-mana spell, but basically it's a 4-mana spell. You're only rarely casting it without kicker. The kicker is black and basically adds an enter the battlefield hymn to Tourach Dread Cantor. And whenever the opponent discards a card, you put a +1/+1 counter on Tourach Dread Cantor. The most important part of Tourach Dread Cantor, though, might be that it has protection from white. That is really what put this card over the top. I sort of dismissed this card. I didn't think it would be good enough for Legacy. But the thing is that so much removal in Legacy right now is centered around Swords to Plowshares and Prismatic Ending that there are entire decks that basically can't deal with a protection from white creature. On top of that, against a deck like Control, if you cast this and they don't Force of Will it or something like that, it's probably going to be a 3-for-1 at least. They might just have no answers for it at all in the 75, depending on the deck. So it's really powerful. It can be recurred with Karakas, which also means it can be bounced by the opponent's Karakas, which is usually how a deck like Death and Taxes deals with it. But it's very powerful. On top of that, the usual sort of Deadguy Ale cards. It's got 4 Dark Confidants. It's got 4 Stoneforge Mystics. I'm running 3 Opposition Agents, which is a card that is pretty well positioned in Legacy. I don't think it's that powerful. I think when this card got spoiled, a lot of people were saying, "Oh, this is gonna change everything." I don't think so most of the time. It's once you know that the opponent has it, you play around it. The difference is, in a deck like this, it becomes very hard to play around Opposition Agent when there's Dark Ritual, because anytime the opponent has, or in our case, us, whenever we have a black mana open, you can cast Opposition Agent. Opposition Agent helps you win against basically, you could sometimes snipe a win against a fetch land or something like that, but really it crushes the green decks. Anything with Crop Rotation, anything with Green Sun Zenith, anything like that, it's really good. It's pretty good against Urza's Saga. You control their searching. And then, it's okay in some other matchups. It can shut off a lot of what Death and Taxes is trying to do with either their Stoneforge Mystics or Recruiter of the Guards, so it's pretty good. Modern Horizons 2 also added Kaldra Compleat, which is a very fast clock with a Stoneforge Mystic, and Neon Dynasty added Lion Sash, which is it's pretty good. I'm running 4 equipment right now. If I were to say, like, I actually think there's no question in my mind Lion Sash is better than Batterskull. I would say Batterskull is on the chopping block. Like, if I needed to make way for another card, probably Batterskull would be my first cut from this 75. The other card from Modern Horizons 2 that really made a splash is Prismatic Ending. I dismissed this card for this deck because, you know, it's a 2-color deck. You generally don't want to be, you know, you're only 2 colors, so why run Prismatic Ending? Well, the answer is most of the time you're casting Prismatic Ending for a 1 or 2 mana permanent. So it's really good. But I'm running a single Badland just to get 1 more color. And the whole reason for that is you need to be able to get to 3 colors with Prismatic Ending so that you can kill something like Ensnaring Bridge. Otherwise, the deck just doesn't have any outs to something like Ensnaring Bridge. But Prismatic Ending, being able to get X equals 3, or not X equals 3, but 3 colors, in a pinch has really helped out the deck. You know, just solving all sorts of permanents that are problematic. Rounding it out, you've got 4 Thoughtseize, 4 Dark Rituals, 4 Swords to Plowshares. In the equipment package, Jitte, Batterskull, Kaldra Compleat. In the lands, you know, it's a Wasteland deck, so you're running Wastelands. You have black fetch lands, 4 Marsh Flats. Kind of interesting. It's running a fair amount of basics. I'm running a Plains and 3 Swamps, 3 Scrublands, Karakas as a utility land, and Castle Locthwain is kind of an interesting utility land. This is sort of to help you grind out control decks or other things like that. You know, this deck more than some other decks gets into top deck wars, and Castle Locthwain is actually proven to be pretty good. As far as I'm concerned, I was a little skeptical of it at first, but it's worked out. If I were to consider another land, it would be something like Volrath's Stronghold, but I actually think Castle Locthwain is a little better, especially there's a couple double black spells in this deck between the Dauthi Voidwalkers and the Hymn to Tourach, and Castle Locthwain is just a little bit better for that. Sideboard has a bunch of anti-combo stuff, 3 Deafening Silences, 3 Surgical Extractions, 6 Planeswalkers, which is sort of like a transformation package against control. Cut the Dark Rituals and you add in the 6 Planeswalkers, but each of the Planeswalkers sort of has its place in some other matchups. You know, Ashiok is very good against control or green decks, Loam decks, lands decks, anything like that. Anything that sort of relies on the graveyard. Kaya is actually decent against Delver. You know, the tick down can kill all of their creatures except for Murktide Regent, and then if you stick the Kaya a couple tick ups and suddenly they can't cast Murktide Regent anymore. So Kaya Orzhov Usurper is actually pretty decent in that matchup. Liliana Last Hope's good against most creature matchups. Liliana the Veil is good in a couple different matchups. All of these are good in control matchups though. Plague Engineers against the creature matchups, and 1 more Prismatic Ending just to bring in against like really fast creature decks, things like Elves, things like Delver, stuff like that. So that pretty much rounds out the deck. I'm going to run it into a league and see what happens. Cool. All right. We will do play points. Cool. So yeah, the deck, I have no trophies this season, but this season's only a week or so old. Maybe a couple weeks old. But yeah, the deck feels pretty good at least. I jumped right into it. I've definitely faced this person before, but I don't remember what they're playing. Hopefully it's a creature deck. This hand isn't stellar, but I think it's good enough. You know, if I were to say, like, there aren't a lot of, like, this is a decent 6-card hand, so I'm gonna keep this and hope they, you know, I really need the white mana off this Verdant. All right. Well, I'm gonna Verdant Catacombs. I'm gonna hope they play like a creature or something, and then I can swords it on my turn and then him to Tourach them. And this looks fair. All right. Okay. Well, I'm gonna get the Scrubland, plow that Dark Confidant, and then him to Tourach them. Ooh, that's kind of interesting. I might stick with I'm going to stick with the plan. All right. Okay. So this is kind of an interesting one. I have a couple options here. So I can Wasteland them and then leave up Dark Ritual into Opposition Agent and try to snipe that Misty Rainforest. I might try to do that. So I'm going to hit that Savannah and pass the turn and hope that they crack that Misty. Oh, nothing. All right. Okay, well, they didn't crack it, but I'm going to just go for the Stoneforge and just be proactive here. I did sort of have a little bit of a waste there, but, you know, in terms of not using all my mana last turn, but that's okay. Let's see what they do here. What's this? Oh, Prismatic Ending? Yeah, that's fine. So this sort of changes the calculus a little bit. I was not, I mean, I'm not exactly sure what my opponent's on here. Regardless, I think I'm going to play out Dauthi Voidwalker. And then, you know, this could be an Uro deck of some sort. So I'm gonna play Urborg and just play out the Dauthi Voidwalker. And we'll see how that goes. I'm still gonna try to snipe them here with an opposition agent. Let's see what they got. There we go. All right. So I'm going to take a snip of this, because I sort of had no idea what they were on here. Okay. What snow-covered forest? That's kind of interesting. Okay. So they don't have Uros. They have Slowgurk the Overslime, which is kind of interesting. This is a pretty cool deck. This is sort of like some sort of 4-color control. They're definitely going to have some land problems. So they've got green, black, blue, white. And they've got all their colors with their 3 lands already. Got a couple. They've got a double green thing. I'm leaning toward taking either, probably a basic here. Yeah, just make sure that they can't turn me off of Prismatic Ending. This also would turn on Prismatic Ending X equals 4. Although I don't think my opponent has any 4s. They don't. Do they have Wastelands? They have 4 Wastelands. So that even makes me more inclined to maybe take a forest here. All right, I'm going to take a forest. My opponent's on a Loam package. All right, so I'm going to take a forest. Did they have Green Sun Zeniths? They have 1. All right. They have 2 cards in their hand. I wonder what they have. Hard to say. All right. Well, they still have all their colors here. So this is some sort of like 4-color, like mid-range blue Zenith deck, although with only 1 Green Sun Zenith. Got Grist, Swords of Plowshares. No Swords of Plowshares. No, it's a Chalice deck. All right. That's kind of interesting. This Deadguy deck is not particularly weak to Chalice. You know, it does have some 1-drops, but not that many. You know, I mean, I think it's got 4 Thoughtseizes, 4 Swords of Plowshares, and 4 Dark Rituals. But, yeah. Okay, they can do that. That's fine. Alright, well, we're going to start the beat down here. I'm going to open that up. And so there's no endurance coming here, because they don't have double green. They do have double black because of Urborg, but I didn't see any double black things. But the clock is starting. I'm going to pass the turn. I don't know what they have. They don't have any 4s, so it's just sort of like Loams and stuff. Loams, Slow Gurk, Tranquil Thicket, Sylvan Library, Kaya. It's a pretty cool deck. Alright, so that Windswept Heath is a mostly dead card. Alright. Guess I'll play the Plains. Guess I'm slowly getting towards Kaldra Compleat here. We'll see what my opponent's got. Something like Leovold would be very damaging for me. I hope they don't get Leovold. Okay, they just scoop it up. Right. It's pretty good. Cool. So this is some sort of a Loam deck, which means, and they have Green Sun Zenith. So especially with Chalice of the Voids, like Kaya Orzhov Usurper is going to be really good. I mean, they have a bunch of stuff for the graveyard, Slow Gurk, Savin, Life from the Loam, even Knight of the Reliquary, and then it can also exile Chalice of the Voids, Mox Diamonds. Seems like a great card in this matchup. So I think I definitely want the Kaya Orzhov Usurpers. I think Prismatic Ending is pretty good. These are a maybe. I don't know if I want these. I don't think Plague Engineer is where I want to be. The Liliana, the Last Hope, kills Dark Confidant, but not a lot else. They don't have a ton of creatures. Killing Dark Confidant isn't bad. I don't think I mind. Do I really want the Liliana of the Veil? Because they have Life from the Loam. Liliana of the Veil may not be that good. Like, you know, traditionally Loam decks run their own Lilianas of the Veil. Ashiok may not be that bad. You know, they have a bunch of search effects between Green Sun Zenith, 4 Knight of the Reliquary, fetch lands. I don't hate that. And then it exiles the graveyard. So I think these are okay. I don't know about Plague Engineers. I think Opposition Agent's great. I'm not 100% sold on Umezawa's Jitte. It doesn't seem bad. Lion Sash seems good. Tourach Dread Cantor is probably not very good. They do have... Yeah, they're not like really a white removal deck. So I don't think it quite does that much. So I'll probably cut the Tourachs. Bring in the... I'll just do that probably straight up for the Kayas. 50 seconds. Dauthi Voidwalker is really good. Lion Sash is really good. Swords of Plowshares seems fine. I think I definitely want a Prismatic Ending. I might even cut a Swords to Plowshares for one to try to reduce my cards that get hit by Chalice of the Void. But because also Prismatic Ending is a solution to Chalice of the Void. I can also just sometimes take a Mox Diamond. Probably Umezawa's Jitte is probably also on the chopping block. Maybe I'll cut the Jit and cut a Plow and bring in Prismatic Ending and one Ashiok. Maybe I'll do that. All right, this looks okay. All right, hopefully I can get him. Okay. So yeah, against these green decks, even though this deck isn't exclusively green, just the hate bears between Opposition Agent and Dauthi Voidwalker are very powerful. I suspect my opponent had maybe a Green Sun Zenith in their hand because we only saw one in the deck, and I know they had Dryad Arbor. I feel like a lot of Dryad Arbor decks run 2 Green Sun Zeniths. Running a singleton Green Sun Zenith is a little strange. So I wouldn't be surprised if they had a second one and it was just in their hand. In that screenshot? Yeah, okay. This hand's great. This is a keep. So we can hold up Dark Ritual into Opposition Agent. Although, who knows, my opponent might have a Chalice here. Nope, just Dark Confidant. That's fine. Alright, well, I'm just gonna play out Verdant and pass. I will not block the Dark Confidant here if they attack. Wow, a second one, huh? Now I'm considering it. So I can fetch out a... I think I'm going to do that. I think I'm going to fetch out a an Opposition Agent, block, and then Prismatic Ending the second one. All right. That's not a bad draw. So here I'm going to Prismatic Ending the Bob, and then hope that they sort of stall out now that they don't have ways to draw multiple cards a turn. That's going to hurt, especially if they have something like Life from the Loam. Land would be very good. Oh, I hit it. That's fine. I'm going to fetch out a Plains here. Bog's fine. So here's a question. I think I'm going to play Kaya and just exile a Mox Diamond. Because if I can cut him off of the second Mox Diamond here, that's going to hurt a lot. Even something like Loam would hurt me, but oh, okay, they scoop it up. All right. So yeah, Kaya here is very powerful. You know, like if they don't have something almost immediately, you just Kaya, tick down, take out the second Mox Diamond. If I draw a land, I can play both my things. So that was a pretty fast matchup there. Shows the power of this deck. It's pretty good. It definitely has its weaknesses, though. You know, any super fast combo deck, it's pretty weak there. It's a little weak to control game 1. I feel game 2 and 3, it gets much better post-sideboard. We'll see how it goes. I guess I can close this now that I don't need it. Sorry about that. It's Nathan. All right. Nathan frequently plays something like Oops All Spells, which this is about as good as it gets turn 1 against Oops All Spells. All right. Nathan plays a lot of things, though, so you can't be guaranteed. It's not guaranteed to be Oops, but I'm definitely keeping this. You know, if Nathan turn 1s me, like, nothing I can do. Sure doesn't look like Oops. The other thing that Nathan plays sometimes is Omnitell. So that's a possibility too. Another thing where, so doing something like Dauthi Voidwalker into Thoughtseize here on turn 1 seems very powerful. I'm going to actually just fetch basics. You know, who knows what Nathan's on. But I'm going to play a Dauthi Voidwalker and then Thoughtseize. So, you know, you can always hit something like, you know, some Mega Bomb. Orum's Chant. Okay, so this has got to be some sort of combo deck. Got a Flooded Strand. Can't cast spells this turn. The spell was kicked. Creatures can't attack. Alright, whatever. A lot of people say this swamp looks like a mountain. I don't think so. Alright, well, I'm done. So I can Force of Will something if I have to, which is pretty good. But this sure looks like Omni to me. Okay. So scries 2, puts 2 on the bottom. Okay, so drew a random card. Scries 2, draws a card with Preordain. Okay, plays the Lotus Petal. Okay, so I'm gonna... I guess here's the thing. Are they gonna go for it right away? They could. They could. They definitely have these 3 cards in the hand. I guess, no, the Flooded Strand is gone. So they've got these 2, and then 2 unknowns. And then they've set the top of the deck. 2 cards on the top. So they definitely have good stuff here. I'm gonna fetch a Plains and just play a Stoneforge. And Stoneforge is just gonna get Kaldra Compleat. Kaldra Compleat's really powerful because it, you know, they have to kick the Orum's Chant to do anything. All right. So this is definitely a question, like, do I attack with Dauthi Voidwalker? And I think right now I do. So I'm going to attack with Dauthi Voidwalker. You know, if Nathan goes for it right here, I probably just lose. You know, if Nathan's got the full combo here of, like, Show and Tell and Omniscience. Well, there's the Show and Tell. So I'm going to play the Opposition Agent. Okay. Interesting. Okay. Well, so I can still force something. So I'm gonna get the Kaldra Compleat going. So Kaldra Compleat with Opposition Agent is a 2-turn clock. And then, you know, basically this stops my opponent from, I mean, not a lot actually, because they can Orum's Chant. But basically they have to end the game this turn, which is very possible. I mean, they have Omniscience. Although one of the frequent game enders is shut off by Opposition Agent. All right. So yeah, they can Orum's Chant, but I can Dauthi Voidwalker and cast Force of Will. So one of the game winners in Omnitell is you know, that they sometimes fetch it out of the sideboard. It's some instant that lets you search your library for 2 creatures, and then you just cast like Gristlebrand and Emrakul. But with Opposition Agent, they can't search their library. Okay, so this matchup is challenging, I'm going to be honest. Liliana of the Veil's pretty good. The opponent, like the Planeswalker package isn't as important. Ashioks are okay. But a lot of these things, like Prismatic Ending, doesn't do anything generally. So you're just trying to sort of race against time. So Umezawa's Jitte doesn't do anything. Prismatic Endings usually don't do anything. Most of the creatures are still fine. Tourach Dread Cantor is still pretty good. Swords of Plowshares is usually totally dead, if not, or mostly dead, if not totally dead. You can sometimes get like a Gristlebrand, but I don't even know if that's good enough. I might just cut all of the Swords of Plowshares, and just maybe Deafening Silences, which are decent. They don't turn everything off, but they can slow the opponent down. Liliana of the Veil's pretty good. Let's see, I've got 7 here. Sometimes Surgical's okay. It's not stellar. Do Do I want Surgical? Because sometimes you can like Thoughtseize Surgical and that ends the game, but I don't know if that's exactly where I want to be. Even Ashioks aren't very good. Mostly they turn off fetch lands, which is really powerful, and you know, sometimes you can just exile a win condition or two. Yeah, this definitely you're just sort of racing. Maybe I'll bring in one Surgical. I think the rest of this is all dead. I don't think Kaya does anything here. Let's cut all this and bring in all this. Let's go. But yeah, there's no doubt about it. This matchup is not stellar. It's not the worst. So I don't hate this matchup, or I don't hate this hand. I'm gonna keep this. I don't know if this is a days matchup. I think a lot of show and tell decks do run days, but I don't know if this one does. This sort of looks like some blue-white deck. So I'm actually gonna cast Deafening Silence here, not leave open Dark Ritual into Opposition Agent. And the reason why is you can sometimes get them, like if they've cast a spell already with Opposition Agent, and then they sort of can't do anything else. So my opponent can't do anything now after they've cast Ponder. All right. I'm going to cast Dauthi Voidwalker here. I fetched basics last time, so I bet my opponent didn't bring in like back to basics or something. So I'm gonna just fetch out and see what they've got. They might force this, but probably not. I assume they're running like Swords to Plowshares and Prismatic Ending. So I can't Ritual into Ashiok, but I can because of Deafening Silence, but I can Ritual into Opposition Agent. Okay. Force pitching show and tell. That's fine. Well, that's their spell for turn. There's a Prismatic Vista. Okay, so I don't hate. I might just him here, because you can't Ritual into him. So I'm going to just him to Tourach. Just try to keep them off of answers. That's my turn. Impulse and Flooded Strand. Okay. There's the Prismatic Vista. There's another Impulse. Let's see here. Okay. And that's their spell for turn. Love. Yeah, that's pretty good. Cool. So I have options here. I can Deafening Silence. I think I'm going to cast Ashiok, though, and just exile a bunch of stuff. I think that's going to be my plan. It's not perfect, but... Alright. Okay, got an Omniscience, but nothing else. I'm going to pass the turn here. So there's show and tell. So I'm going to put in Opposition Agent. That's a problem. Not a lot of answers to that. I sort of need to draw out here. Oh, wow. Well, yeah, I got lucky. Okay. Yep, got lucky a little bit. Can't complain. So I'm actually gonna I can notice like MTGO slowing down. I'll cut this out of the video, but I'm gonna restart MTGO here. All right, I'm back in queuing for a league. So far I would say we've gotten a little lucky. You know, especially against Nathan in game 2. You know, top decking that Karakas. We basically either needed to top deck the Karakas or top deck Liliana of the Veil, or we were dead. So that was pretty lucky. I don't think there were any other outs. Probably not. Let's see. No. Nope. So those were the only outs really. So I would say that was pretty lucky. We had 2 outer, and if Nathan has Force of Will, then even the Liliana of the Veil doesn't work. So yeah, we got lucky there. But you know, luck's part of magic, I guess. But yeah, overall, this deck has just felt pretty strong. It's felt like it's got play in the current meta. I think a lot of it is positioning. Like, you know, Tourach Dread Cantor shouldn't quote unquote be a legacy card, but just due to the fact that white removal is so prevalent, Tourach Dread Cantor is much better than it would be otherwise. All right, let's see. Where is it? Here it is. Okay, the Hollywood MK. I don't think I've played against this person. This hand's fine. I can fetch basics. I can go Dark Confidant on turn 2. I can play a Tourach Dread Cantor on turn 2. It's got no turn 1 play, but otherwise I think it's fine. If I draw something like a Thoughtseize, I can Ritual, Thoughtseize, Dark Confidant. Uh-oh, Grindstone. That's a problem. Okay, well, I'm going to play a Marsh Flats and just pass the turn. So this matchup is actually very challenging for this deck. That's curious. Okay, well, I'm just going to play Dark Confidant. I don't know what happened there. But I'm going to just get a Plains and play Dark Confidant, and we'll see how it goes. You know, it's possible my opponent is very close to going off. Okay, that's something. Goblin Engineer, that's fine. Okay, Tangle Wire. Okay, I've faced this deck before. So I actually have a couple options here. I guess we'll see what I get out with Dark Confidant. Okay, this is pretty much perfect. I think you Wasteland the Great Furnace, you Prismatic Ending the Goblin Engineer, and then you just, you know, let the Urza Saga do nothing. So I'm gonna Wasteland Great Furnace, Prismatic Ending the Goblin Engineer. So they missed a land drop, which made me go that route. And now, basically, unless they have a, well, of course they have an Ancient Tomb. Okay, and there's a Painter's Servant. That's a problem. Okay, cool. Let's see what I draw, I guess. Okay, Hymn to Tourach is not quite what I'm looking for here. It's not the worst. So they can't Pyroblast, but they could potentially like Force of Will if they're on that version of this deck. But I think what I'm going to do here is attack with Dark Confidant, equipped with Umezawa's Jitte, because otherwise they just grindstone during their draw step and I lose the game. So I'm gonna just play a Scrubland, Dark Ritual, Umezawa's Jitte, equip it, and attack. This isn't the best, but it does something. So they'll block. No, they probably won't block, and then I just lose. Oh, well, they blocked. Perfect. So I'm going to finish that thing off. I think I got kind of lucky there, because they could just not block. Okay, they're just floating. They could get like a, what do you call it? Like a pithing needle, but I don't think I care. Sure. Sure. That's a problem. Okay. Okay. Okay, this is kind of interesting. So I think here I'm gonna Tourach Dread Cantor and like Dark Ritual, Tourach Dread Cantor, and Dark Confidant. That'll take them down to 0 cards. If they top deck a land, I think I lose the game. But otherwise, I've got them in top deck mode, and I have a Dark Confidant, and I can hope to draw a Swords to Plowshares or a Prismatic Ending. I think that's my plan. I'm gonna get my Badland out here. Okay, so Dark Ritual. And we're going to cast Tourach Dread Cantor with Kicker. This will force my opponent to discard. I still probably lose this game here. But, you know, I've at least got something. And then I'll play the Dark Confidant and hope my opponent doesn't draw a land. And then I just need to draw Swords to Plowshares or Prismatic Ending. Okay, they can draw a card. Well, there's Great Furnace. Meekstone. Okay. That's fine. So I basically have to draw a Swords to Plowshares or Prismatic Ending here, or pretty much that's the end of the game. I got 2 cards to draw it. Got there. Okay, so do I want to hit the Painter's Servant or the Grindstone? I think I'm going to hit the Painter's Servant. I guess I could. Yeah, I think I'm going to hit the Painter's Servant so that I can keep attacking with the Dark Confidant, because the Tourach is going to be tapped here in a sec. And then I won't be able to do anything. So I'm going to Prismatic Ending the Painter's Servant for 2. Done. Get in the 6. But then next turn, it's not a 1-turn clock, because even though I get in for 6 this turn, the Tourach is not going to untap. That's the end for me. All right, let's see what happens. I've gotten pretty lucky, I would say, here. My opponent, I would say that they conceded slightly early. They had at least 1 more turn. Okay, well. Okay, that was okay. I think Kaya's good here. Lily on the Veil is decent. Prismatic Ending is for sure. They're probably running the other Goblin, but I don't know if Plague Engineer is quite enough. Whatever it is, Goblin Welder. Plague Engineer does kill that, but I don't know if that's enough. I think because they are running that Goblin, though, I might run the Ashioks, which are pretty good. Or maybe the Surgicals? Maybe. But I don't think Liliana the Last Hope is quite where I want to be. I don't think the Plague Engineers are quite where I want to be. Okay. Despite this matchup going the way, so I think Batterskull, like, this is not a them pressuring my life total kind of a matchup. I mean, it can happen with the Urza Saga, but I don't think it's that important. Although they are running Meekstone, makes me kind of consider this. I don't think it's that good. And the Tourach Dread Cantors, again, they're not very good. We got lucky, basically, to use these. I don't think that they're very good in this matchup. Opposition Agent is fine against any deck that's, you know, they have Goblin Engineer. It's a May, so they can say they're not going to search. But Urza's Saga is a must, so they have to search with Urza's Saga, and the Opposition Agent will, you know, take a Grindstone, and I could potentially even win the game. So I think that's good. I think the Dauthi Voidwalkers are good. Him to Tourach seems fine. Thoughtseize, Dark Ritual, Swords to Plowshares all seems good. Lion Sash seems fine against Goblin Engineer or potentially Goblin Welder. So I think these are all coming in for sure. Kaya Orzhov is really good because it can take out Urza Saga tokens, it can take out Grindstone, it can take out you know, just stuff from their graveyard. So I think that's fine. I think most of this is fine. I would say the Jitte is not stellar. I'm considering taking out like maybe something like Surgical for Jitte. I don't hate Jitte, but Surgical seems like having a Surgical seems good against a Grindstone deck because you can just like take out a Grindstone and then they lose the game. I know I have 20 seconds. I'm going to take out the Jitte and put in a Surgical, and we'll see how this goes. This hand's fine. I like it. So, you know, it has answers to everything, I think. Like, you know, if they go fast, I can go fast in response. So I think that's fine. I'm going to plow this thing. Or should I Prismatic Ending? I'll probably Prismatic Ending it now that I have 2 of those. So probably go that route. And I'll just fetch out of Plains here. I'm going to just fetch a basic. All right. Okay. Not surprising. So they can Pyroblast here, which is pretty good. So let's see. If they have a land, they can go Grindstone and just kill me. Ugh. Blech. Okay. Fun. Okay. So my options here, I can Prismatic Ending it. I can Swords to Plowshares it. This, of course, plays right into Pyroblast. I think I'm going to sit back and I'll plow it on their turn. So if they go for the combo, I'll plow it in response, but that's all their land. Oh, interesting. I don't think I've ever seen Painter run a Cavern. Well, I'm not blocking. There's 4. Karn the Great Creator. Okay. Up to 1 target non-creature. Okay, with no target, I think that is. Yeah, okay, yep. So I'm going to plow this here. Okay, so this is trouble. Because they can go for something like liquid metal coating. But I think that's okay. I'm going to just leave open here. Cool. So I'm going to tap this for white. All right, well, I'm going to cast this. I'm going to cast Opposition Agent. This sort of might change what they're doing with that. They've killed my land. All right. Okay, so options here. Not a lot of good ones, to be honest. Probably attacking Karn, which is fine. but I don't have any other solution. I might Prismatic Ending the liquid metal coating just to try to live another turn. They can actually hit me here, like they can Mycosynth Lettuce, but that's all their stuff. So maybe they probably won't do that. Okay, Karn goes to 4, which is still trouble. So I can either play like Dark Confidant or, yeah, I think I'm gonna Prismatic Ending. I gotta preserve my lands. So I'm gonna hit the liquid metal coating. Still hard to take out Karn here, and they might have whatever it is, like that vehicle that comes into play and does 3 damage. That would be also pretty devastating if they have that in their sideboard for Karn, in their wish board. I think I'm definitely an underdog this game. They do need something though. Interesting they had liquid metal coating in the main board. Like that, it's kind of interesting. They're probably looking at their sideboard right now because they probably have a second one in the sideboard. That would be my guess. But if they wish it out, they need that and something else. Otherwise, opposition agent kills Karn. But if they have that, whatever it is, Heart of Kirin or whatever that thing is, that would be really bad for me. That vehicle, Tangle Wire, oh, that's trouble. Okay. Oh, interesting. So I have to tap 4 things. Cool. Okay. All right. So now they can't search up. Well, they can, I guess, but then Karn dies. I guess they can make Tangle Wire into a creature, which is kind of annoying. So they have to tap a bunch of stuff, but then they can make Tangle Wire a creature. I guess they're going to tap Tangle Wire. Okay. Okay. Still have tons of mana. 5 mana. Okay. Sack and Karn. Let's see what they're getting here. Liquid metal coating, which means they probably have another Karn. Okay. Yep. 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 Nothing I can do about that. Yep. And then here, I have to tap 3 things. Stellar. This is some sort of weird prison deck. Alright. I mean, I guess I attack Karn. Yeah, I think I'm probably losing this game. This is where they kill my planes, and then I can't Prismatic Ending the liquid metal coating. You have to tap, it says taps an untapped artifact, creature, or land. Okay. Okay. Oh, interesting. Okay, well, I'm going to tap lands. I don't think I'm going to use this. I'm going to attack Karn. Okay, I guess we'll see what they've got. And then fading, I think it dies at the beginning of every keep remove a fade counter if you can't sacrifice it. So it's still a thing until they can't sacrifice it. So they'll have a turn where they could just turn it into a 3/3, I guess. Okay, Great Furnace. Got to tick up Karn here, although they can tick it up on one of these artifacts. Alright, they're going to kill one of my swamps. They could... Okay. And I'm going to tap the Wasteland here. Yep. We're going to tap the Wasteland. Hope to draw... Thoughtseize is not the worst. I'm going to use it. See what they got. I'm taking the Pyroblast. And I'm going to kill that Karn. Okay. I mean, I'm not in the worst shape here. This could be worse. They've got no cards in hand. Or they had, I mean, now they have one, but... Got loads of land, but, you know, I'm not in the worst of shape. Oh, if they, like, top decked a bomb, I'm in big trouble. Okay, they were faking me out here. Okay, well, there's nothing to tap. Okay, I mean, this is Dark Confidant. I guess I'll play it after attacking. That hopefully will get me some lands, and then I can, you know, get started there. Although, I guess, you know, Dark Confidant and Opposition Agent are just a 2-turn clock. It's something. They can always get a second Tangle Wire and then taps all my stuff. Okay, that doesn't do anything. Oh, I guess it does prevent Opposition Agent from untapping. Okay. I mean, I guess you just cast another Dark Confidant. It's a 2-turn clock still, so it's something. My opponent's drawn lands. We got something though, 1 card still. Let's hope to not hit the Kaldra Compleat. That's not bad. Okay, this is something. I think I definitely want the Karakas. Not a lot to do here. I can play Kaya and exile the Meekstone, which seems okay. I think I'm going to attack first. I guess I can Dark Ritual, cast him to Tourach, and then cast Kaya. Seems okay. I mean, there's no real point, but I mean, yeah, I guess I might as well. I mean, because I think this game ends next turn one way or the other, so I don't think the him to Tourach's that good. So I'm going to hymn my opponent for their 1 card. It was worthless. I'm going to play Kaya Orzhov Usurper. And then I'm going to exile the Meekstone. So that just turns on my opposition agent as another attacker. And even if they draw like Ensnaring Bridge, I have Badland Prismatic Ending to kill it. So okay, that was their 1 card. So I think that's the game. Okay. Yeah, I'm on a roll. Deck seems okay. All right. Yeah, I don't know why MTGO, like, it's already feeling sluggish a little bit, but it definitely like slows down, I feel, as you play like 2 or 3 matches now. It only started actually around Neon Dynasty. Like before that it was doing fine. But now I feel I have to restart it every couple matches just to get it back to performing okay. Cool. So yeah, you can really, I mean, just all the hate bears in here. I mean, not really hate bears, but Dauthi Voidwalker and Opposition Agent really work together just to shut down a ton of decks that are really popular in the format. I actually think Painter is kind of a difficult matchup for this, despite having 4 Swords to Plowshares and 4 Prismatic Endings. Just, you know, it's just a really fast combo, and you just get overloaded on removal. So I actually do find that matchup kind of difficult for this deck. But it's not the worst matchup. I'd still say something like Storm's not very good. Yeah, Oops isn't the worst, but you know, Oops game 1 is almost certainly going to be a loss unless you randomly go first. Oh, Stryfo. I hate facing Stryfo. Stryfo's hard to beat. Okay, so this is probably the Stryfo pile, which is a pretty good deck. I'm going to keep this. Let's see what my opponent's got. So Stryfo is on usually like a 4-color non-white pile with planeswalkers and a bunch of stuff that's good. Stryfo's decks are always pretty good, I feel. I'm going to fetch basics because I think Stryfo, last I checked, was running Wasteland and Loam. So I'm gonna fetch a basic, at least on the first land. We'll see how Thoughtseize goes. Okay, Pyroblast is dead. Okay. Brainstorm, Drown in the Loch, Force of Will. I guess I'll take the Force. The other option is you force out the Force. Yeah, I don't know. So I'm debating between these two. Could take the Brainstorm, but I don't think that's good. Drown in the Loch, I don't have to worry about it this turn. So I think to make the Hymn to Tourach hit, I'm going to take the Force of Will. Hope my opponent doesn't draw something that will turn on Drown in the Loch. Okay. Okay, so I can, because I drew the planes, I could fetch another basic if I want to, which I think I'm going to do that. Let's see, I played this, so I'm gonna Hymn to Tourach here. And just pass the turn. They're gonna Brainstorm. That's fine. Put away the good stuff, and then probably just get hit with Hymn to Tourach. Oh, Force, pitching Drown in the Loch. All right. Okay, that's fine. Dak Faden. I hate Dak Faden. And they pitch Uro and Pyroblast. Okay. So here I don't have a ton of great options. They do have Jace, so I'm leaning toward actually casting Dauthi Voidwalker and then wastelanding the tropical island. I think that's because that'll make Jace further away and Uro further away, and I can deal with the Uro a couple different ways after that. So I think that's okay. Plus it makes it where if they want to Dak Fade, and they have to actually exile things. Which is, and they've got 2 Groves, so this would cut them off blue. All right. All right, they're Dacking. Even if they Punishing Fire the Dauthi Voidwalker, it will be exiled. Okay, so they did that. Okay, so I can try to get them with Opposition Agent here, which seems pretty good. So I'm going to attack Dak. Okay. Got Dak. And I'm going to just leave up the Opposition Agent. And if they don't do anything, I'm not going to do anything. Okay. Okay, they've cracked the Polluted Delta, so I'm going to Opposition Agent here. Okay, got him. Okay. So you can see sort of the power of Dauthi Voidwalker really shutting off any sort of graveyard shenanigans, and they were trying to maybe either bring back Uro or cast Jace, and this prevented their whole plan. So yeah, just these 2 hate bears together, really powerful. Nonetheless, Stryfo is still very hard to beat. Lots of things are good in this matchup though. So I think all the Planeswalkers are probably in. Liliana Last Hope is not the best, but I think Stryfo might be running Strixes. So I think it's okay. Prismatic Ending is just okay, but probably better than other stuff I'm running. Jitte's bad. Doesn't do anything really. Batterskull is okay, but not great. Might still keep it in, just to get Assassin's Trophied, I guess. The rituals are probably all getting cut. Hymn to Tourach's good. Dauthi Voidwalker's good. Tourach Dread Cantor's fine. Dark Confidant's fine. Stoneforge Mystic's fine. Lion Sash is great. Opposition Agent, to be honest, is not actually that good. The only fetch lands, that's the only thing it really turns off. So I don't actually know if I need all 3. I might cut 1. It's not like a terrible card in the matchup. It's just not a very good card in the matchup. Ooh, and Swords to Plowshares probably isn't a very good card in the matchup. Stryfo usually does run Uros, but that's probably about it. So I might trim a couple. Actually, you know, I might trim all of them and bring in Surgicals or something. So maybe I'll bring in Surgicals because that's probably better than Swords to Plowshares. And then I'll bring in all of this stuff. The Prismatic Ending, to be honest, isn't stellar, but I might still keep it. And then maybe I'll just keep in the Opposition Agent. It's probably fine. Yeah, it's probably good. Let's go with this. Yeah, I feel Stryfo's very hard to beat. They're a very good player, and their deck is very good. Okay. This hand's okay. It's a little awkward because I can't cast. I don't have any white land. And I need another land to get to that. But I think it's okay. I'm going to keep this. It's got a turn 1 Thoughtseize, and then, you know, if you draw a land within 3 turns, it's got a turn 3 play. So I think it's okay. It's not the best. But it could be worse. Got a turn 2 play now. Alright, so we'll Thoughtseize, Uro, Drown in the Loch, Dak Fade, and Brazen Borrower. Cool. God, I hate Uro. Hopefully I can get white lands and get Kaya Orzhov going. Okay. I'm leaning toward Dak Faden, but Drown in the Loch isn't bad either. Maybe I'll turn off Drown in the Loch, and that way I can turn 2 Thoughtseize and have a better choice. I'm going to do that. You know, yeah. I'm going to... it's between these two. I think the Brazen Borrower is fine, even though it's usually a 2-for-1. I'm going to hit the Drown in the Loch. Nah. Yeah, I'm going to hit the Drown in the Loch. That's a hard one. That's a hard one. Because Dak Faden really turns on their deck. But, yeah. Ooh, Surgical is interesting. Surgical's real interesting. I'm going to Thoughtseize again. Because this way, if they like turn 3 Uro, I can Surgical it. And that's fine. Pernicious Deed is fine. Not worried about that at all. I'm going to hit Dak. Let's see here. And then that. Okay. And I'm done. So if they Uro, I'm going to hit Uro as soon as conceivable. That's fine. Okay, they play the Volk. So there's definitely like a debate, like should I Uro now? Should I hit the Uro now or wait till their draw step? But I think you're worried about them drawing a Force of Will and then flashing back Uro. Although I guess they're short of green. I'm gonna just Surgical Uro now. Oh, they have a Force anyway. Pitching the Brazen Borrower. Okay, so here I really want to draw white mana. White mana would be fantastic. That's not going to do it. Okay. Well. Man. Dak. Let's see what they do here. Okay. Okay. Stuck on lands here. Didn't draw anything good. This game's getting away from me a little bit. Ah, Punishing Fire too. Yeah, what do they got here? Oh, Leovold. Okay. Alright. I mean, as long as I don't gain life. P-Fire is just a card in the graveyard. Oh, never mind. Trouble. Boy, such a hard matchup. So grindy. And now Dak can ultimate, which is probably game ending. Okay. So here, and they have green, so that's trouble. I can Liliana and tick down and kill the Leovold. Boy, yeah, this matchup's just hard. I think that's the answer. I mean, I guess my alternative is to block the Leovold with the opposition agent, but they can just P-Fire it. I'm going to Liliana, and then I can Wasteland the Grove, I guess. There are not great options here. Yeah, there's just not great options here. Are they going to Uro? Uro's bad for me, but it's not the absolute worst, I guess. They took the P-Fire back. P-Fire can kill Lily. This matchup's real hard now. That's something. So I can't, unfortunately, Prismatic Ending here. God, so much bad. All right. All right. I'm going to do each player discards. I'm going to pitch the Batterskull. Yep. They pitch that. And then I guess I'm going to play Kaya and hit the Uro and a Lightning Bolt. Or Uro and P-Fire. But yeah, I'm in big trouble. I'm in big trouble here. I'm going to get a Plains. Yeah, I mean, because there's just no stopping this Uro. Let's hit the other Uro and P-Fire. But I know they have a P-Fire in their hand. I'm also going to Wasteland the Grove. But yeah, I think I'm still dead here. I can always top deck a fetch land and Prismatic Ending the Uro. I guess that's an answer. But I'm going to probably lose both Planeswalkers this turn. Or he'll just Assassin's Trophy them and take them. Okay. Oh, he's attacking me. Oh no. Just everything's slow because MTGO is slowing down. Yeah, there. Took Kaya. Okay. I think this is where I lose the game. Oh, he took my planes. Okay. Yep. I think this I won't feel ashamed about scooping here. This game's looking over. All right. That's fine. Okay. Still think the 2 surgicals is fine. Prismatic Ending actually feels kind of weak. I'm wondering if I should go up to 3 surgicals. Otherwise, this seems okay. I mean, as in the best I can do, it's still weak, but I still feel like this is one of the harder control matchups. I feel it's harder than the white control matchups because in the white control matchups you have Tourach, Dread, Cantor. So I'm going to just play this. This seems as good as it gets. I'm going to keep this. I would love like a Thoughtseize, but this is still a keep. All right, let's just play Swamp and pass. And I'll Stoneforge Mystic turn 2, and then Opposition Agent turn 3, or maybe Lily turn 3, depending on what they've got. Ooh, I think I like Dark Confidant even better. Okay. MTGO is really slowing down for me. That's fine. Yes, and I will take the planes here. Okay. So here I have options. I lean towards like Wasteland plus maybe Liliana or something, or Wasteland plus Opposition Agent. I want to save this to get the Badlands so I can Prismatic Ending X equals 3. Yeah, maybe the answer is just Wasteland, and then I might proactively play out the Opposition Agent. I don't believe this is a Daze deck, so I'm going to Wasteland, just play Opposition Agent, and then I can Wasteland either the Underground Sea or the Trop. I'll probably waste the Trop. Cuts them off of Assassin's Trophy. Both of them are blue, but all right. Okay. Guess we'll see how this goes. So here, I lean towards Stoneforge Mystic. I'm going to attack here first, though. I guess they can Snapcaster, which would kind of suck. We'll see what happens. Okay, that's fine. Cool. I'm going to just Marsh Flats, and then the other option here, I can Stoneforge Mystic and get Lion Sash and then play it out. I don't hate that. I don't hate that. Let's play the Stoneforge Mystic and see what happens. Well, I'm going to do it. And I'm going to grab Lion Sash here. And I'm gonna play the Lion Sash. I guess they could have Prismatic or Pernicious Deed. Pernicious Deed, yeah, it would be bad. I would hate that. I mean, I have Prismatic Ending, but it would still hurt. Oops, I meant to get the Badland, but I didn't. Damn it. Well, that's a mistake. That's a punt. Because now if they play something like Uro, I can't deal with it. I guess I have the Lion Sash to deal with it. But yeah, he can gain control of the Lion Sash. That's kind of annoying. Okay. Super annoying. All right, well. All right, I'm going to Prismatic Ending the Lion Sash. Kind of annoying. And then I'm going to beat down on Dak here. And then I have the Stoneforge up to put the Batterskull into play, which is going to happen. Ah, there it is. Ah, Uro. My favorite Magic card. Man, he's gotten so lucky not hitting any fetch lands. All right, let's see. So Drown in the Lock is possible here, which would take out Liliana. There's not double green for Uro. Okay. Okay, so here's the question. Do I want to... They could have double green, which would be a problem. All right. Well, I'm going to play Dauthi Voidwalker and try to bait out some sort of removal here. So this could just get drowned in the lock. All right. Okay. It's 8 damage. Let's see, what do you got? Petty Theft on the Germ. That's fine. Okay. Brainstorm. So Brazen Borrower can't block anything, but if he gets green mana here, that's trouble. Because I can't do anything against that. Oh, there's Uro. Yep. You got Uro. Uro's hard to deal with. So I can try to cast Liliana here, but it's probably just going to get forced. All right. Cool. Well, yeah, I mean, I guess you just swing with the Dauthi Voidwalker. What's the only thing with a void counter on it is Brainstorm. Okay. Well, I'm still going to cast Liliana of the Veil here. Try to kill this Uro. This probably gets forced. No. Okay. Well, we're definitely killing Uro. That was probably a mistake. I probably should have done that first, because if I kill Uro, then I get in 4 more damage. Yeah, that sucks. Oh well, that's fine. So this Lily will probably get killed by Brazen Borrower, which is fine. Like they'll play the Brazen Borrower and then kill it, which is fine. I'm gonna Thoughtseize first. All right, it's Thoughtseize in case I hit something good with Dauthi Voidwalker. I don't know what I like. Jace the Mind Sculptor, maybe. I don't know. Assassin's Trophy targeting Dauthi Voidwalker. Okay, so here you crack the Dauthi Voidwalker. And I'm going to pick the Brainstorm. Assassin's Trophy resolves. Or it doesn't resolve. Thoughtseize goes through. See what they got. Okay, they Brainstorm. All right, let's see what happens. Another thing? Cast Snapcaster. Okay. 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 Well, pitch the Endurance. That's fine. Yeah, we'll take the Endurance here. Okay, Boseiju is annoying, but not the worst. Okay, so I have options here. I can exile the Snapcaster, which seems it would get in an extra couple points of damage. I think I'm going to Brainstorm first. And I still have Liliana to tick up, which is going to tick up on Uro. Okay. Okay. So I can... Let's see, I can't cast Prismatic Ending and Dauthi Voidwalker randomly because of the Wasteland. The Hymn to Tourach's bad, but I need to cast the Dauthi Voidwalker here. I have to. Ugh, because of Uro. Stupid Uro. Okay, or I could... Let's see, no, I can't even Wasteland the Bayou because they have Boseiju. Man, this is an interesting one. Okay, so I think I definitely... I think I'll pitch the Hymn to Tourach. So I'm gonna put... So I have to pitch something to Lily. I'm gonna play Dauthi Voidwalker, and then maybe I'll make them pitch with Liliana. So maybe I'll put the Prismatic Ending on top, and then Dark Confidant on top. No, the Wasteland doesn't do a lot here. Okay, so maybe I'll put... Yeah, this is a tricky one, man. Okay, because I think I want to pitch the Hymn to Tourach. I want to play Dauthi Voidwalker, and I want to, like... I don't know. I guess I could Wasteland their other green land. That doesn't seem that good. Okay. All right, I'm going to put Prismatic Ending on top, and then Dark Confidant on top. All right, now I will do each player discards a card. And I will do Hymn to Tourach. Okay. They're going to do Brainstorm. Probably should have played Dauthi Voidwalker first, because they're going to pitch Uro. Oh, interesting. All right. I'm going to play Dauthi Voidwalker. I'll play Wasteland. And then, okay, so I can Wasteland their Greenland, and then that means that they, I mean, I guess they can play the Uro, but they can't Boseiju the Batterskull also, or it'll make it harder to Boseiju, because then they'll be down on Greenland. Okay, cool. I'm gonna Wasteland the Bayou. Yep. And then I'm gonna get in with just the Stoneforge Mystic. I'm gonna get in with both, actually. Yeah, I will get in with both. I'm gonna force a block. I guess my opponent doesn't have to block. Keeps Liliana alive. So I could Snapcaster into... I guess I can Snapcaster off of Dauthi Voidwalker, which seems okay, but not great. I'm going to get the Dark Confidant going, I think is the plan next turn. Jace the Mind Sculptor. Cool. Okay, that's fine. And then they can't do that. So I'm going to play Dark Confidant. Play Dauthi Voidwalker. Boy, Moto's so slow. Tick up. and then attack Jace. All right. My top card is Prismatic Ending, which is a 1. Okay, they're going to draw an extra card with Jace. I'm fine pitching the Prismatic Ending. They have a Polluted Delta. All right. So these are both gone. Brainstorm. Man, they've got so many cards. Leovold. Leovold's kind of a problem. Would love to draw a... they have no cards in hand. Okay. Interesting. Can't do anything with that. So I guess I can tick down with this, and they can't cast that. So that's kind of interesting. Maybe I will do that. Okay, so I want to let this resolve rather than casting it. I think that's okay. Because if I sack the Dauthi Voidwalker, the Punishing Fire goes to the graveyard, but this way it goes to exile. Okay. And then let's kill Jace and get in for 2. Kill Jace, get in for 2. Boy, I'm going to time out. All right, get Kaldra and pass the turn. All right, got this one. Got lucky. Man. Okay, I'm going to restart Moto again. Just shows how slow this thing gets all the time. All right, cool. I'll be right back. All right, I'm back in queue. Restarted Moto, so hopefully I don't have that slowness anymore. These really grindy ones can be... they're such a pain to play. I don't know why Moto slows down like this. It used to not be like this. It was very fast for a long time, and then just suddenly, in around the time Neon Dynasty came out, it's really slowed down for me. But yeah, we had a bit of a close one against Stryfo on the Stryfo pile. That's a really hard matchup, but you know, I got a little lucky, and Stryfo I think missed some things that they needed to get in order to win. You know, little things like letting that Punishing Fire go to exile and stuff like that. That can make the difference. Punishing Fire really shuts down my deck, but you know, Stryfo pile is about the only deck running Punishing Fire right now. Loam's not running it really anymore. So, yeah, gotten lucky. Hopefully I can get lucky and get the 5-0. See how this goes. No, wonder if this player is not going to make it. Okay, on the draw against this player, I think I played this player like long ago, but I don't think I played this player anytime recently, so I have no idea what they're on. Hand seems great. I can fetch for white. I've got a Thoughtseize on turn 1. I can either him or Stoneforge Mystic on turn 2. I can plow if they have something. This hand seems great. It's got disruption against combo. It's got Source of Plowshares against a creature deck. Mulling to 5. This rarely is a fair deck, I feel. I mean, some fair decks do have to mull to 5, but I don't know. Sometimes you just get Dark Ritual into Gristlebrand or something. Okay, they're gonna hit me. We'll see what they got, what they take. Okay, took my Thoughtseize. Okay. Well, I'm gonna just play Verdant. And we will see how it goes. Duress. Okay. This is where they probably take him to Tourach. This sure looks like a combo deck. Alright, well, I'm going to play the Dark Confidant here. I'm going to fetch the Scrubland, Swamp, and then Dark Confidant. So I can Prismatic Ending X equals 3 next turn, but this sort of sounds like Reanimator to me. Although, with a blue land, maybe not. A blue fetch. Like, maybe it's, I don't know. I don't know what this is exactly. We'll see. Okay. Crack the Misty. Basics. Brainstorm. They've definitely stopped me from looking at their hand by taking out my Thoughtseize and him to Tourach. Hopefully I draw some different discard spell this turn and I can get in there. See what I'm up against, because I have no idea. Fae of Wishes. Okay, they're playing the creature just as a 1/4. Okay. I mean, well, I mean, I guess I don't think I even care. Discard 2 cards, return Fae of Wishes to its owner's hand. So it's just a 1/4. It prevents me from blocking, but I don't care. Like, I lean towards just playing the Stoneforge here. Yeah, like, I don't need to get it. Like, the 2 points of damage, I mean, I'm not going to attack, but I think I just don't care. I think I'll just play Stoneforge and you know, start really shortening the clock with Kaldra Compleat. So I'm going to just pass here. Not going to attack. I can always plow this if I have to. Narset is fine. That definitely will block a Narset, or will keep the Narset alive. Okay. So I want like a Plains here, or a discard spell would be fine. Lion Sash is okay, I guess. It's not the best. What are they doing here? They have an upkeep stop. Okay. Well, not really a lot I can do. I guess I'm just going to Kaldra Compleat and attack that Narset. I sort of don't know exactly what this is. It's kind of interesting. I hope they don't have like Days Undoing. Days Undoing would be very annoying. It wouldn't be utter disaster, but it would be bad. Okay. They've chumped with the Fae, got rid of the Narset. They have a Veil and a Bayou. Okay. And the mana up for it. This sure looks like some weird Omniscience. Okay, that's interesting. And there's almost nothing I can do here. Okay, well, I can Wasteland. I can Prismatic Ending the Narset. So this is gone. I can Wasteland the Bayou, Prismatic Ending the Narset. And then, yeah, or I could play Stoneforge Mystic and then nothing. I think already I have a 2-turn clock, so I think you just play the Wasteland, Prismatic Ending here, red, black, white, done. You Wasteland the Bayou. Okay. And then this is a 1-turn clock, but, you know, they probably have like Show and Tell, Omniscience, Emrakul or something. Okay, that doesn't do anything because I didn't play a blue card. All right. So it's a 1-turn clock, but I'm in trouble if they have like Show and Tell here. There's the Show and Tell. So I'm gonna play Stoneforge Mystic here, or I could play Lion Sash. I'm gonna play the Stoneforge Mystic. Okay. And I guess I'll get Batterskull. I don't think it matters because I think that they have it here. Nope. They don't have it yet, I guess is the right answer. But Ponder. They're cantripping. I guess they need to hit. And if they hit, I lose because I can't beat an Emrakul. I can't beat a resolved Emrakul. Because I'm at 15. I can't take the one hit. Got there. All right. So this is some sort of like bug Omni. Kind of interesting. And okay, so there are, I was checking to see if there were any duplicates because there's a bunch of sort of unique cards here. But I guess there were 2 Narsets and there were 2 Brainstorms. So this isn't some Tainted Pact deck. Okay, so this is Omni. You definitely want Liliana of the Veil against Omni. I don't hate these against Omni. I guess Prismatic Ending does something, but it's probably not very good. I'm going to cut at least 2 Swords to Plowshares, maybe more, and the Jitte's bad. The question here is, do I, like the discard seems great. The Confidants, the Stoneforges, Dauthi Voidwalkers, these all seem fine. So unlike a normal control matchup, I think the Dark Rituals are probably still good here because you really need like a fast start. And I'm wondering whether like something like Kaya Orzhov is probably not that good. Ashiok's probably okay in this matchup. I don't know about this. It sort of depends on whether they're running Strixes. So it's probably at least these, probably at least 5. I don't know if I want 3 Deafening Silences, but 2 seems fine. Batterskull seems okay. Kaldra, Lion Sash seems okay. They could be running Gristlebrand, so maybe this is, I don't know. It's probably not very good. Probably cut 1 at least. And I don't know. I need to make one more cut. Prismatic Ending is probably not very good. I'm going to cut one more. Just because, you know, normally in the Omni matchups it doesn't do anything. I guess I can hit Narset, but that's about it. I'm going to swap those for these. I don't think the Prismatics, they're probably dead cards, but I'll keep them in for now. It can at least hit Narset, so that's something. And let's hope to get lucky. This is not it. Yeah, this hand doesn't function, so this is a mulligan. Ugh, this hand doesn't function either. Yeah, if this is a swamp, this is actually an okay hand. It's not that good, but if I just had a swamp with this, it would be fantastic. Okay, I'll keep this. This is okay. I'll bottom the second opposition agent in the Kaldra Compleat. This looks fine. I'll keep this. Yeah. Okay. Multi-5's hard, but it's winnable. My opponent has main deck Veil. Which makes me really hesitate to just fire off this Thoughtseize. Okay. Well, I don't have a choice now. The opposition agent isn't a terrible card to put in off of Show and Tell because it stops that whatever it is, shared summons or whatever that card is, that makes them search their library for 2 creatures. Sometimes they run that. Okay, so they're gonna Thoughtseize. I guess, you know, all 3 of these have their place. I wonder what they take here. This is kind of interesting. I think opposition agent is pretty good, but you know, I guess it sort of depends on what they have. Yeah, they thought so too. Opposition agent is pretty good. All right. Well, I guess I'm going to just fetch another Scrubland in case they have a Wasteland or something. And I'll play Dark Confidant. But yeah, they can just have like Omniscience Emrakul here. There's Show and Tell. There's Omniscience. I'll get Kaldra Compleat. And then if they just Emrakul here, I'll concede. Okay. Drawn from Dreams. That's something. So this is kind of like it's really powerful. Lets them search a lot of cards. Okay, they've got a Narset. I can attack the Narset to death. What the hell is this? Oh, they can pull the card from outside the game. Oh, search your library for a card. Wonder what they're getting here. I guess they don't have to reveal. Well, that'll do it. Okay. That's a weird one. I mean, I've seen this card, but I don't know if I've seen this card in Legacy before. That's cool. This deck's kind of cool. This sort of like bug Omni. They do have some search effects. So again, like the Ashiok and the opposition agent seems good. Although they can get a card from outside the game. Presumably they have an Emrakul there. I'm wondering if I should bring in something like Surgical Extraction over Swords of Plowshares, Prismatic Ending. Because like if you just Surgical one of their win conditions, that's probably the end of the game. I'm going to go for it. We're going to gamble a little bit. I'll cut the Prismatics and the Swords of Plowshares and just go with this. This does leave me a little weak to something like Karn. I don't think they have Karn. Yeah, let's just go with this. I think this is okay. Let's see if I can get lucky. I don't think this is good enough. It's got lands, but I think it's just too weak of a hand. I'm going to mulligan this one. All right, this is a hand. I like this. I like this. I'm going to put back a land here. It'll probably be the Urborg. Yeah. Okay, and they kept 7. So I'm going to fetch just a basic here and just Thoughtseize. And we'll see what's going on. Okay. Okay. Okay, so I can take 2 drawn from dreams. Or I could take Thoughtseize. This is a tough one. So I can get a 2 for 2 by taking drawn from dreams. I'm going to take the Thoughtseize here, and then maybe I'll Thoughtseize again and take the drawn from dreams. I'm going to take Thoughtseize here. Keep them in the dark. Ooh, him to Tourach. That seems fantastic. Let's hit him. So you're going to brainstorm here? That's fine. And if I hit Surgical, or if I hit Emrakul, I might Surgical it. But we'll see what I hit. So they played the Underground Sea. Okay. Him to Tourach. Hits Omniscience and Polluted Delta. That's trouble. Okay. Yep, I guess I'm done. Yep, Island. Ooh, and they have a Thoughtseize. So I'm not going to play my Surgical here. If they Surgical Omniscience, okay, that's fine. They took the Stoneforge. Kind of interesting. Okay, I'm going to Thoughtseize here again. And we'll see what's up. Okay, so they can Thoughtseize me, or they can draw from dreams, and then they're going to draw another draw from dreams next turn. I think I'm going to take Emrakul here, because they're a long way off of casting drawn from dreams. And then this shuffles away the draw from dreams, I guess. And then I am going to Surgical the Emrakul. So I'm going to Surgical Emrakul. Okay, so just 1. Interesting. I'm going to snip this. Interesting. This is kind of an interesting deck. It's very different. Dead of Winter. It's got a Day's Undoing, but just 1. An Oppo agent. This is kind of a cool deck. All right. And then they have just 1 of those Mastermind acquisitions and a couple Fae of Wishes, which can get more stuff too. Okay. Well, that's that. And then they're going to Thoughtseize away my Lion Sash, which is fine. And then we're in top deck mode. This deck definitely gets into these top deck wars not infrequently. Oh, that's a fantastic draw. All right. I mean, nothing I can do here. Need to draw some sort of gas, but in the meantime, they're, you know, slowly losing their hand. That'll work. Dauthi Voidwalker. Dauthi Voidwalker's really good. Because if they pitch, I guess they don't have any like big bomb creatures left here. So, yeah, I guess whatever. All right, we will make each player discard a card, and then we'll open the exile pile. Oh, interesting. Guess they can veil. They could have veiled to draw a card and then pitch something else. Okay, but they're going to try to get the full value off the brainstorm. They do need to assemble like the full combo because of Liliana being able to do, or you know, if they just like show and tell Emrakul or show and tell, I guess they have to omniscience and then cast them, which is I guess enough. So never mind. They need like omniscience and then mastermind acquisition or something. That's what they need. All right. I'm going to fetch out here just a thin. It's marginal, but I'm going to do it and get a Badland. Okay. Well, plains will tick up. See what my opponent's got here. What did they pitched a Polluted Delta. I'm going to get the beats in and then pass the turn. So they have one card, but this is a kind of deck that can just beat you with one card. So we'll see what they got. Show and tell? No, Days Undoing. Okay. That's interesting. Okay. Okay. So I think I definitely want to him to Tourach here. I might also make them sacrifice a bunch of permanents. Like I might, I guess I can only get one permanent, huh? Maybe I'll try to opposition agent them. Well, I guess, so I can do him to Tourach, Stoneforge Mystic, Lion Sash, or I could do him to Tourach. Yeah, I guess tick up Liliana. I think that's pretty good. Okay, let's do that. So let's open with him to Tourach. Actually, let's open with Liliana. So each player discards a card. And then I can always tick down Liliana next turn and make him sacrifice 2 lands. Make my opponent sacrifice 2 lands. I'm going to pitch a Marsh Flats. Because if they have a non-basic, I might use the Wasteland on that. Okay. That seems good. I'm going to Hymn to Tourach here. Okay, got Duress and Ponder. Okay, do I want to play out... So Dauthi Voidwalker will take them to 8 this turn. Although I could keep something up like Veil of Summer. Or I could use it to Duress them. I don't know if Duress... Is Duress where I want to be? I mean, I don't know. They're definitely short on land, but they could have just drawn the combo, you know? And then I'm in big trouble. They probably have a land. 4 cards in hand. Because if I Duress here... I think I'm not going to Duress here. I'm going to just play Marsh Flats and cast Opposition Agent. And I'm gonna cast Opposition Agent. Will I do that on their turn? I'm gonna do that on their turn. Yeah. I'm gonna get in an attack. I'm gonna hope that they play into Opposition Agent with a fetch land or something. Hopefully they didn't draw the full combo. Okay, there's a Misty. They played into Opposition Agent. We'll play Opposition Agent, see what happens. Boom, got there. All right, well, I recorded a 5-0. Got a little lucky, I think, in that last matchup, because that is definitely a matchup that we can lose. Pretty cool to record a 5-0. So yeah, overall, I feel the deck doesn't need any changes. I still feel like Batterskull might be the worst card in the 60. There just aren't that many matchups that aren't covered by the 3 other equipment. I wouldn't hate putting either a Liliana of the Veil or the 4th Dauthi Voidwalker into the main deck. I used to run 4 Dauthi Voidwalkers in the main, but I think with Lion Sash, I just don't know if it's necessary. So yeah, I don't know. I think the 60 is very close to good. If anything, Batterskull is the card that's on the chopping block. And in the sideboard, I think the sideboard is pretty optimized. I think the 3 Deafening Silences is the right number, because, you know, against those Storm and Oops and those kinds of matchups, you want all the Deafening Silences. I think 3 Surgical Extractions is good. I could even see myself going to 4 in some matchups. And I think Surgical's better than Leyline. I think you definitely want all the Planeswalkers in some of the matchups. So yeah, I think that's fine. And the Plague Engineers are great. Prismatic Ending, you sort of need it against Delver. I think this 75 is pretty good. So yeah. Yeah, I think this is pretty good. Overall, I'm pretty happy with the deck. I think Deadguy is reasonably well positioned, at least for leagues right now. I don't think there's something... Like, I don't know if it would be competitive in, like, a challenge where you're basically, you know, you're facing a lot of Delver and you're facing a lot of Control. Control's a fine matchup, I think. I think this deck is slightly favored against Control. It's probably about 50-50 or maybe a slight underdog in Game 1 and then a favorite in Game 2 and 3. Delver is unfavorable for sure. It's not the worst. Like, you can definitely win the matchup, but you're probably like a 60-40 underdog in that matchup. So yeah, I don't know. I don't think I'd change anything here in the 75, with the exception of maybe figuring out something for Batterskull. So anyway, thanks for watching. Glad you got to see a pretty good league, and wish you all the best. So normally I stream, or I don't stream, I record NickFit videos. If you ever want to see NickFit videos, check out nickfitmtg.com. And that'll link to like YouTube with more videos, and there's a bunch of other stuff about NickFit on there. But yeah, glad you stuck around for a Deadguy League. All right, have a good one.